Hey strangers, JV here, and today we're back in the Outer Worlds to check out 5 rare weapons you might have missed. The nature of this game means that in any given playthrough, you're going to miss stuff because of the decisions that you make. Deciding the way a quest ends can mean that you're getting one unique item instead of the other, and there's simply no way to get the other one. While the Outer Worlds isn't quite a Fallout or Elder Scrolls game, it still has large areas and items hidden off the beaten path that many people missed because they weren't looking in every single corner. Without further ado, here are some of those rare, unique weapons that you might have missed. Starting off, we're taking a trip to the Emerald Vale and to the town of Edgewater, the first major city in the Outer Worlds. Aside from talking to the mayor, recruiting Parvati, or paying a visit to Vicar Max, one of the preliminary side quests involves doing some bounty work for the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. Constable Reyes, a no-nonsense by-the-books type, heads up the local chapter. She asks you to collect the fingers of 3 dangerous marauders plaguing the region. This is the point where most players go ahead, finish that bounty, and return to collect their reward. Constable Reyes is relatively irrelevant after this point, and that's why most people probably haven't found this weapon. Unless you were hellbent on destroying Halcyon from the ground up, odds are you probably didn't kill Constable Reyes. I'd also say it's fairly uncommon for people to have pickpocketed Reyes by the time they meet her, since you need at least 40 stealth skill to gain that ability. Our first rare weapon is Peacekeeper, a unique version of the Spacer's Choice sawed-off shotgun. You can grab this by killing Constable Reyes and looting her body, or by pickpocketing her undetected. Peacekeeper deals more damage per pellet, shoots less pellets per shot, has a faster rate of fire, and tighter spread. The result is a more accurate, higher damage per second version of the regular sawed-off. In combat, this thing shreds most enemies within its 5 meters effective range. Despite only working up close, this shotgun falls under the long guns category. Dumping points into the long gun skill will increase critical chance, reduce sway, and maximize critical hit damage. Peacekeeper is best used against non-armored targets since it only uses light ammo and deals physical damage. The knockback special effect knocks targets to the ground, making them unable to take any action for a short time. If Peacekeeper doesn't put down enemies quickly, it incapacitates them long enough to be finished off completely. If you miss this one, make sure you grab it before you leave the Emerald Vale because it definitely packs a punch. Now let's go to one of the more dangerous destinations in Halcyon, Monarch. Embroiled in an ideological conflict, Monarch stands between Graham's Iconoclast and Sanjar's MSI. When you're not dodging Manta Queens and maneuvering acid pools, the rugged terrain of Terra 1 holds many secrets worth finding. The hero arrives in Stellar Bay in search of Hiram Blythe, the information broker who reluctantly aids Phineas in his quest to revive the Hope. He hides within Devil's Peak Station, beneath the horned mountaintops that tower above Monarch. The stranger can scale Devil's Peak via the caverns beneath, or cut a path through marauders to the station. One way or another, you'll get stopped by a member of the corporate compliance crew just before reaching the top. You learn that the station's been overrun by marauders, and although C3 was contracted to defend the broker, they must be convinced to help you do their job. Instead of going through the front entrance to the station, head back down to the C3 barracks and up the ramp to the left entrance. A small pack of marauders is defending this area and can be dealt with easily. Once they're gone, take this unmarked path that leads to our next rare weapon. In the clearing, sitting between the sundered rock is a unique melee weapon named the Hammer of Olympus. This two-handed pulse hammer variant from Aramid Ballistics delivers godlike destruction. While the standard pulse hammer deals plasma damage, the Hammer of Olympus is fitted with a Mr. Zap damage modifier. This transforms its damage type to shock and makes this hammer most effective against auto mechanicals. Mr. Zap also converts the special effect from knockout to stun, which renders enemies unable to attack for a short time. This makes it useful beyond auto mechanicals, since you can stun most enemies into submission. When used in tandem with the power and sweep attacks from the two-handed melee skill tree, this hammer absolutely obliterates anything and everything you'll ever face. Take a pit stop on your way to Devil's Peak to grab the Hammer of Olympus. Next, we're heading to Byzantium, the crown jewel of Halcyon. There's plenty to see and plenty to do in the gated-off headquarters of the Board. One of the less traveled areas of Prosperity Plaza is the maintenance tunnels, located underneath Billingsley's House of Inebriation. Before taking the elevator down, you'll come across researcher Giles Molina, who works in the Ministry of Accuracy and Morale. Walking by, he'll swear to you that he's on his very brief board-sanctioned break. If you talk to Giles, you'll learn that he's lost his lab sprats in the maintenance tunnels and needs your help to collect them. Of course, he'd do it himself, but the tunnels are littered with sewer sprats and exterminator auto mechanicals. Now, you don't actually need to accept this task to find the next rare weapon, but this is probably the closest most people come to finding it on their own. Hunting down these sprats leads you through the tunnels, but if you take an immediate right, you'll find the parcel service room. Inside are the dead Halcyon parcel service workers, undoubtedly murdered by the auto mechanicals patrolling the area. On the floor next to this HPS worker is where our next rare weapon, ionized paper knife, is found. This one-handed melee weapon is a unique plasma cutter from Aramid Ballistics. What sets this blade apart is its speed grip mod, which increases melee attack speed. This increase in damage per second makes all the difference compared to the standard edition. The ionized paper knife deals plasma damage that tears through flesh and has a chance to apply the burn special effect, dealing extra damage over time. Most creatures, save for the mantisaurs, tend to be weak to plasma, so the ionized paper knife works great against most enemies in the game. When compared to the competition, plasma cutters tend to outclass most melee weapon types. They're a cut above the rest, and the addition of the speed grip only sweetens the deal. Pick up the ionized paper knife if you haven't already, because it's great to have in your back pocket. Back on Terra 2 is the abandoned region of Roseway Gardens. Its only settlement, Roseway, was run by Auntie Cleo and subsequently shuttered for unknown reasons. You get there via distress signal from Gladys, whose appetite for corporate secrets, and more importantly the bits that can be gained by selling them, knows no bounds. Upon arrival, you find Roseway in shambles. It's supposed to be empty, but Auntie Cleo's shady operation is unsurprisingly still humming. Scientist Anton Crane called for help after his diet toothpaste project didn't go exactly as planned. His raptidons escaped their cages and wreaked all havoc upon Roseway. On the eastern side of town, you'll find Orson Shaw, a brilliant, if not scatterbrained scientist of his own repute. If you continue to bug him and offer him help, he'll ask you to retrieve the schematics for his top-secret defensive device project. Orson's schematics are in the basement of the Auntie Cleo's storage facility southwest of Roseway. After busting through outlaws and auto mechanicals, you'll find Orson's force pistol schematic on the wall. At this point, you're given the choice to return the schematics to Orson or lie and keep them for yourself. Before coming to Roseway, Gladys offers you bits in exchange for corporate secrets. These schematics are worth plenty, and there's a solid chance you return the schematics over to Gladys for a nice payday. But if you decide to give Orson his schematics, he creates the ultimatum plasma handgun and hands it to you since it's contraband. After leaving Roseway and passing 2 days of game time, either by playing or sleeping, you'll receive a wireless on the Unreliable from Orson, requesting that you return so he can give you an item of great value. Turns out his weapon wasn't bought by Auntie Cleo because of the oversaturated weapons market in Halcyon. However, you still get the weapon. Your reward is the Anti-Cleo ULTI-NATURE, a corrosive handgun. Ultimatum and ULTI-NATURE are completely unique in that there are no other types of force guns in the game, unless of course you gave the schematics to Gladys. What makes these so special is their capability to fire energy rounds that bounce off of surfaces. It's a really cool effect that comes in handy around tight corners where enemies use cover to their advantage. ULTI-NATURE has a high fire rate and excels at short to medium distances. Its rounds deal corrosive damage, which tears through armor, auto mechanicals, and mantisaurs. And on top of that, the special acid effect has a chance to deal additional damage over time. If you handed the schematics over to Gladys last time, try Orson on your next playthrough so you can get your hands on the ULTI-NATURE. For the fifth and final rare weapon you might have missed, we're going back to Monarch and to the town of Cascadia. It was owned and operated by Rizzo's, the makers of sugary foods and drinks, as well as the owner of the eponymously named tossball team, Rizzo's Rangers. By the time you arrive, Cascadia is desolate and overrun by marauders and mantisaurs. Most players come across this town via Lilia Hagen, the enigmatic CEO of Sublight Salvage and Shipping. Aboard the Groundbreaker, she sends the stranger to Monarch on the hunt for valuable salvage. Sublight have located a cache of ultra-rare Alta Vitae gas, and Lilia tasks you with receiving it. Fortunately, this rare weapon doesn't require you to complete or have even started this quest, but it does require a picked lock. Once you've cleared the raiders out of Cascadia, head to the downed bottling plant sign. Across the way on the left is a ladder that you'll take up to the locked door. Unfortunately, there is no key for this one, so you'll need to pick the door to get through. You can achieve this through any combination of bringing Parvati along, having certain clothes, taking certain consumables, or just raw skill points, but your lockpicking skill must be at least 60 to enter. Inside, you'll find a one-bedroom apartment complete with a dead resident and tons of items to scavenge. Head into the bathroom and look in the sink, you can't miss it, for our final rare weapon, the PURPLEBERRY launch. This is a Rizzo-branded unique version of the plasma launcher manufactured by Joch. What makes this variant so interesting is that it not only has different stats than its standard version, but it also behaves differently. Where the normal plasma launcher can be charged and explodes on impact, the PURPLEBERRY launch can't charge, but each projectile bounces once. This allows you to angle shots around corners and behind cover to catch enemies by surprise. PURPLEBERRY launch has a smaller area of effect per shot, but it does fire quicker. The result is that you can spam this thing to your heart's content. This heavy weapon is equipped with the Mag to Ray mod, making it one of the few weapons in the game that deals the N-ray damage type. Each round causes internal damage to enemies and spreads to other nearby targets. Combining N-ray with a launcher makes for a devastating area of effect weapon, perfect for tackling large groups of foes. For a weapon that is just stupid fun to use, head to Cascadia for the PURPLEBERRY launch. That's it, folks. We looked at 5 rare weapons that you might have missed during your time in Halcyon. There are plenty of unique guns to grab, so let me know which ones you'd like me to cover next in my comment section below. If you like this kind of content, please show me by liking the video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.